Hi, Luke.
Hi, Sinem.
Could you please explain what went well during the first reporting period and what didn't under the EU ETS framework?
Sure. Thank you for your question. So I will give you three examples. Number one, MOHA account. So the journey of opening account of emission allowance was rather bumpy. For those of you who know, there's a requirement for shipping company to open a MOHA or maritime operator holding account, and there's really a tight deadline. Once you know who your member state is, and within 40 working days, that must be done. Meanwhile, each member state has slightly different views on required documents and has a unique registration process. There are admin burdens, language barriers, especially for those companies outside of the EU, and there is certainly room for improvement from responsiveness of the certain member state. But the industry is resilient, and a lot of the shipping company I know were on time, submitting all required documents and requests, and proactively reaching out for support to overcome practical challenges. Second example I want to talk to you about is the complexity of ETS commercial agreement. For liners or cruise companies, it might be more straightforward than, for example, in dry bulk or tanker segment, where you have a good variety of charter party, and then depending on who you are and who you work with and their risk appetites, there will be different approaches. Binko, for example, has provided standard clauses for baseline discussion, but there are many detailed items to be agreed upon, such as how often do you do EUA transfer and so on and so forth. In response to that, I see the pragmatic side of shipping that within relatively short time, that companies come up with a suite of clauses suitable for the specific trade, and they are constantly seeking agreement among different stakeholders. Certainly, before ETS come into effect, there have been concern about ships evading European ports to minimize the financial burden. For example, a ship may wish to call a non-EU port outside of the EU in North Africa or in United Kingdom to really reduce the UA costs. That saving could be substantial in some of the scenario we have seen in different studies. However, there's really no sign of any evasive port of call, and the Commission endorsed the notion there's no trend that ships avoiding European trade. So to me, this is really the good evidence that industry is meeting the problem head on and deal with it directly without trying to avoid ETS. To sum up, for the first ETS period, what I've seen, despite all challenges, shipping remains resilient, shipping is pragmatic, meeting the problem heads on. So really kudos to everyone listening to the podcast right now working in the industry. And I wish everyone a successful new chapter of shipping decarbonization.
Thank you, Luke. I wish the same. Goodbye.